well, President Trump's Secretary of Homeland Security is out in the latest Trump administration shakeup. Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen submitted her resignation letter last night after a meeting with President Trump. Yesterday, Trump tweeted, "Secretary of Homeland Security Kirstjen Nielsen will be leaving her position. I am pleased to announce that Kevin McAleenan, the current U.S. Customs and Border Protection Commissioner, will become acting Secretary for DHS Gov. I have confidence that Kevin will do a great job." Jessica Smith, who also does a great job for Yahoo Finance, joins us now for the latest. So Jess, let's just talk about what happened here with Nielsen's resignation and sort of where Homeland Security and the border issue goes from here.
Right. Well, the talk here in Washington is that the president has been unhappy with Secretary Nielsen for quite some time. She really became the face of that zero tolerance policy that led to all the family separations at the border. But the president reportedly wanted her to do more and kept asking her to do more to stop migrants at the U.S. border. He at one point reportedly asked her to stop all migrants from seeking asylum, and Nielsen has had to tell the president no. So Nielsen met with the president yesterday, and then after that meeting, submitted her resignation letter. In the letter, she says, "I hope the next secretary will have the support of Congress and the courts in fixing the laws which have impeded our ability to fully secure America's border and which have contributed to discord in our nation's discourse." Nielsen tweeted that she will stay on until Wednesday of this week to help with the transition.
So what is next for Nielsen? I think everyone on Twitter yesterday was sort of sardonically saying, oh, congrats on her appointment to an honorary position at Harvard's Kennedy School of Business or something like that. But in terms of her actual government plans from here, do we have any sense of what may be next for her?
It's not clear what's next for her at this point, but as I mentioned, she was a fierce defender of the policies that led to the family separations, and she was on the receiving end of all that outrage after that happened. So recently, over the weekend, a group of 40-some groups, immigration groups and civil rights groups, wrote an open letter to Fortune 500 CEOs urging them not to hire Nielsen or other administration officials who were involved in that family separation policy. In that letter, they said they should not be allowed to seek refuge in your boardrooms or corner offices. Allowing them to step off the revolving door and into your welcoming arms should be a non-starter. So we'll be watching to see what Nielsen's next move is and if her controversial tenure at the White House, how that plays into her next gig.
And Jess, it just kind of occurs to me right now, if you go through the Trump cabinet, there's a lot of acting right now,
yes.
Where we don't have permanent appointees. And I just wonder, in terms of looking at 2020, because every conversation we have, right, it always comes back to the next presidential election, if that's going to be an issue for the president as we head into that period of time.
I think it could be an issue, and that's something that you hear from lawmakers all the time on Capitol Hill, Democratic lawmakers at least, is that they're concerned that there are all of these acting titles right now in the administration. I think the count is up to 5. I mean, acting White House Chief of Staff, several others, and then you look at immigration in this policy that the president is going to be campaigning on in 2020. Now we don't have a DHS secretary, a permanent DHS secretary. He just pulled his nomination for the person to lead ICE at the last minute, saying he wanted someone tougher. The person who will be acting DHS secretary led Customs and Border Protection, so now we're looking for the person to lead in that area. So I think you have this leadership problem on the immigration front as you go into 2020, where that's one of the president's biggest issues.
All right, Jessica Smith live in Washington, D.C.